Welcome to the Glam Life Podcast. My name is Victoria Rocca. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram. And if you don't worry about it because I'm here for you on Spotify on Mondays. And today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Jamie Smith, and she actually owns and operates one of the up and coming Facebook groups in my local hometown called Mompreneurs of Lafayette. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me a little bit, Jamie, about how you came to be kind of the name locally for mompreneurs.
I mean, you're giving me a whole lot of credit here, so I appreciate it. I hope to be that name. I hope that it grows into that and that I am, somebody that's recognized as being a leader for these moms in our community. But I have been honestly wanting to start that group for a really long time. It's been on my heart and on my mind for probably around a year. And I'm not typically one to put things off, but having a baby and being a new mom, I gave myself some grace with why I put it off for as long as I did. But I just am really passionate about helping other moms that are like me, that are balancing motherhood and building businesses. And I really wanted to create a space that was kind of niched down to that specifically. There's a lot of groups for business, women in business. There's a lot of groups for entrepreneurs. There's a lot of groups for even moms. But the combination of a mom and an entrepreneur, I really just thought that it would be special to have a community where we could go to just share in our struggles, to lean on each other, to support each other, to ask for advice when we need it, to encourage each other when we need it, to network with each other so that we can support each other's businesses and refer each other's businesses out. It's, all about just women supporting other women. I love that. I want to be a part of it. I want to lead it. So I don't know if that was a long-winded answer or what you were looking for, but I'm just super excited to see where this thing grows. It's only, I think, maybe 3 weeks old at this point,
Yeah.
maybe, around there, and it's growing pretty rapidly, at least to me it is. And so I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see its growth, and I've got a really big vision for it. So I'm just excited in general to be a part of it and to already have so many special women like yourself and this connection, right? Like that we've already made. Me being here is a product of that group. So
Yeah.
it's working.
Yeah, I got in on the ground floor, if you will, 3 weeks ago, but it is growing rapidly. And if you were to Google mompreneur or entrepreneurship and motherhood in our area, whether you call it Acadiana or you actually type in 337 or by city itself, Lafayette or Crowley or Church Point or whatever, you are what comes up. So you might not feel like the name yet, but you are because you're in a space where there was no competition, but there's so much demand. So I almost wonder why no one had done it yet or not done it in so many words that you come up and that becomes searchable. I feel like everyone who is a mother either goes back to work and wishes that they didn't have to, or decides that they need some kind of side hustle of some kind at some point. And so I'm going to say, even though it's not quite true, it's almost true that everybody wants a business. Everybody who is in our age group and wants to balance motherhood and working wishes that they had a business or that they could control their work environment in a way that they just simply have more control to be the mom that they want to be. That has been a cornerstone of my business for a long time now. At the Microblading Institute, that is my target audience when it comes to students. I want the moms who want something of their own. You major in motherhood, and then your minor is in business or in something that you can own of your own. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't really know what to get into because they thought of motherhood first and then business was secondary. Like I said, the major is motherhood and the minor is in business. So they start thinking like, what could I do? What could my business be? And unfortunately, a lot of them fall prey to the MLM pyramid scheme structure because they feel like, oh, well, this is a bed in a bag, right? Like it's done for me. I get my own business and then I can just run with it from there. And it's not owning a business at all. And somebody can pull it away from you at any moment, and it really doesn't ever actually pay out. So excluding the MLM format, because I will never advocate for it and I will always advocate against it as strongly as I can. Owning a business means that you are in control 100% of your environment, your product, your pricing, your marketing, when you work, with whom you work. How do you figure out what that's going to be? Where do you go to see all of the different ideas there are for businesses, or how do you find one that aligns with you?
It's such a big question. I think the first thing that comes to my mind, and the thing that I coach a lot of my clients on as a life coach and a business coach, is I, for this, my experience was I worked in corporate for over a decade, and everybody has parts of their job that they hate and parts of their job that they love. At least for sure I did. I had parts of my job that I really, really loved. And what constantly just was swimming around in my brain over the years was, how do I do the part of my job that I love the most full time? How do I do
Yeah.
more of this? Is it possible for me to turn this thing that I love so much in my business, which was the one-on-one moments that I had coaching people, developing people, creating the aha moments, making them a little bit better than they were yesterday. I was in management and people development and training, so I did a lot of that. And that was what I loved about it. I'm just super passionate about helping people be better. And enter life coaching era. So I decided to start my own life coaching business. I caught wind of what that was somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago, and just kind of toyed around with the idea for a bit. And like I said, the part of my job I loved the most is what inspired me to start a business around that. So the first thing that I would recommend to anyone is just maybe start there. Think about, what are the parts of your job that you really enjoy doing? What are the parts that you love doing? And is there a way that you can create something for yourself around that, since you already have the experience in it, know that you're good at it, right? And you enjoy it. And it's something that you could continue doing because you're already doing it in another capacity, and maybe doing it well, and loving it. But there's just all the other stuff that you wish you could drop off about your job.
Right.
And so that was kind of my story. And that's what I think is maybe a helpful thought for some people, because there's just, you can either work for somebody else's dreams or you can work for your own. I love that quote, and I go back to it often, because we all have like that idea or that dream that maybe we just think is not doable, it's not possible, it's not realistic for me. And it is doable, it is possible, it is realistic. You just need to believe in yourself, you need to be resourceful, and you need to believe that everything is figure outable, and just go after it. So that's the first thing. As far as for having like a place to go where you go find all of these, business ideas, or places that you can, look up how to start a business, I don't know that I have a list of resources to give you. I mean, I think just go on the internet. We all have the same resources and the same capability to Google something, or whatever it may be. And I think it's just a matter of, okay, maybe I just Google, how do you start a business? Or maybe I get a mentor, maybe I get a coach, maybe I find somebody in my life that's walked, the path and is a little bit ahead of me, that I can ask, hey, how'd you do that? Maybe I can glean some wisdom from them so I don't have to make the same mistakes. But I mean, there's so many things out there that you can create your own business in, Etsy being one of the really big and popular ones. It's like, hey, if you love arts and crafts, or you love, making things, being creative, doing stuff with your hands, that's a great place to go. I've seen a lot of people have success with that. But what I'm going to pause here, because you may have something to say, or a question to ask, but yeah.
No, I think you're exactly right in everything that you said. Going back to the first part of your answer where you were saying finding the part of your job that you love the most and then expanding on it. Some people in our coaching industry will say, "Oh, you have to find your passion." Passion is such a big word, and it can be very intimidating for some people. Like, I like doing that, but I don't know if I'm passionate about it. Like, would I get married to that part of my job? I don't know. What if I'm not passionate about it a year from now? I like to subtract the word passion, which you did not say. I'm not saying that, but some people call it that. And instead, I like to call it the spin-off theory. So when you watch a really good TV show and it's been going on for 2 or 3 seasons, and there is one side story that viewers connect with and absolutely love, producers will actually create one episode around that side character to decide whether or not it has spin-off potential. And I think that's exactly what you are describing. Finding that one little thing in your job that you really enjoy and just following it, like unraveling a string. We'll just follow this one little piece and see where it goes, and decide if we want to create an entire show around it or not. Do we have enough momentum here to throw a budget at it and figure out how to make this its own show. It's the same thing. I think that you're finding the one little thing in your day that you could do every single day. If I got to do this every day, how lucky am I? In terms of finding a resource, you made me laugh when you said, well, we all have access to the same internet. I preach this all the time. And I have a handful of students over the years that I can think of, coaching students, because I coach beauty business owners, who will absolutely go to their grave swearing that that's not true. We don't have the same 24 hours, and we obviously do not have the same internet.
Yeah.
You have to have the open mind and be willing to look. You have to look around you or you won't see. It's like the husband who goes into the refrigerator and can't find it. We must not have any ketchup. I can't find it. And you say, if I get up and go find that ketchup, I'm going to hit you in the head with the bottle because I know exactly where it is. It's where I'm telling you. It's not in here. I don't see it.
Yes. You brought up so many just things in my head just now when you were talking too. Like there's so many people that have opinions, like really hardcore opinions about whether or not you should turn your passion into your income or not, right? Like you said, don't use the word passion. You don't like the word passion, but I'm going to talk about that for a second. Like, I think that is very dependent upon what it is and the person and how they experience whatever that passion is for them. So just as an example, if somebody's passion is watercolor painting, right? And doing that brings them like zen and calm, and they do it as some sort of like therapeutic, this is my go-to to make me feel better in life. You may not want to turn that into your income because then you're adding all sorts of pressure to it. Then now it's not you doing it at the whim of whenever you want to. It's now you're at the beck and call of your clients, your customers, saying you have to do it for me now. And so maybe that is something you're passionate about that is not the best idea to turn into your income, your revenue stream. For me, I knew that coaching people, developing people is something I'm extremely passionate about. It is my mission in life to help as many women as possible lead lives they can love. And so for me, I knew that because I had already been doing it in a different capacity for over a decade, I knew that I wasn't going to burn out on it. I knew that I was already okay making an income on it. And I knew that it was something that I wanted to continue doing that would continue to fill my cup up, and even more so, running my own business around it. So I think that is very, very dependent on what your passion is and how you experience that passion of yours, as far as for whether or not you should turn it into an income. But I'm not completely against that. I'm not one of those people that thinks don't do that. I also, to highlight another point that you made, like a lot of people, I can't find my purpose. I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what my purpose is in life. Here's what I have to say about that, because your purpose and your passion, they're not just floating around in the universe for you somewhere. They're not just waiting for you to find them out in the ethers. Your purpose is what you choose to be committed to at that time. So like my purpose right now is doing the work that I'm doing in my coaching business. Who's to say though, that in 5, 10, 15 years, I don't decide to pivot or do something a little bit different, or maybe go a different path or add on a different, side of my business. That is still my purpose because it is what I am choosing to be committed to right now. So I think a lot of it is just like this, fear of like commitment, really, of committing to something and deciding, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to go after. And when you're starting a business, a lot of people can have this idea that you're starting from ground zero. There's this like whole, oh, I have to start over. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. I don't even have experience in this. And what I remind a lot of women that I work with is that whatever experience you have prior to starting this business, you are taking all of that with you. It is all going to add value in some way to what it is that you're doing next. So don't ever think that, oh, I'm having to start from scratch or starting from nothing. No, you've done so much hard work and so many wonderful things before now that are all things that you can take with you that will absolutely help lift you up in whatever your next career choice may be. So I just wanted to mention that too.
Yeah. So you've been doing in some form or another coaching with women in business for quite some time now. And now that you've opened up your own coaching business and you've started this Facebook group, obviously a lot of that skill set is going to transfer into having this Facebook group, making this community, building, and you're doing these networking events, which I think is so smart and so much fun. I know a lot of times Facebook groups like this that are free to enter and you give like talking points to start conversation, whatever, a lot of times those are just fishing expeditions to find your next client. Lots of people have done it. I've been in a lot of those groups. Yours doesn't feel that way. How did you come across the idea for the format you're creating in this Facebook group, and kind of what's the purpose? What's the mission? Who's the group for?
I mean, it's absolutely for moms that are also entrepreneurs, whether that be a mom who is a first-time mom with an infant or a mom who's an empty nester. We all have value to add. The idea, though, is that you are running your own business, whether that be you're working a full-time job and you have a side hustle, or you're working full-time in your own business. It's for all of those women. And it is just, I mean, it is, like I said in the beginning, it is a space, a community that I want people to feel safe, that I want people to feel not judged in, that I want people to feel like they can come into and share like loud and proud what it is that they do, and also just share things that might inspire someone else, or maybe it's literally you're just looking for help or advice on a certain topic. But you know, I've got the different days of the week kind of themed out to try to provide a little bit of guidance as far as for what sort of posts I would like to see in the group. But also I feel that it's already a very collaborative space. I've already had multiple women approach me wanting to partner with me in some way, or coming up with ideas for the group, or just going, what's your vision? I'd love to be a part of it in the future, or maybe become an admin or whatever it may be. So I love that it already is a space where people are feeling safe to do that. And they're feeling like this is a collaborative space for women to just thrive with each other. And yeah, I don't know, my idea for it, I mean, I'm a part of other Facebook groups, of course, and I just saw that there was something lacking, and I felt like I really wanted there to be this specific niched space. There's the other women that are in the group so far that I've connected with have said that. They're like, you know, I'm a part of a lot of other groups, but they're sort of it's a very eclectic mix of women, you know, at these other groups. And this is like, okay, we are all in this together, in the same boat, like in the trenches, we get each other, you know. And so that was, you know, my idea. I think just spawned from, okay, this is missing, and I want to create this. And like you said, I was really shocked because of course I went on Facebook and I was like, Mompreneurs, Lafayette, you know, is there something like this that exists already? And there wasn't. And so I was like, okay, I got to jump on this. And I'm already like, girl, I want to make hats, I want to make t-shirts, I want, like, this is going to become a brand. You know, I'm like, Mompreneurs of Lafayette podcast is already on my mind, but just so many great ideas for it, such a big vision for it. And like I said, I'm just excited to have begun it and to be a part of it and to just see what we make happen together with it. And as I'm speaking, you know, I think when you asked that bigger question earlier of like, how do we think about starting a business, or how do we come up with a business idea? I think that that's a big part of it. Is you look at what's missing, right? Like you look at what is a problem that needs to be solved, a pain point that needs to be addressed, something that you're like, hey, there's a bunch of these people doing this thing and I really like it, but they're not doing this specific thing. And maybe there's room for me to hop in a lane and create my own, you know, lane here with what it is. So I think looking at competitors, looking at what maybe is missing, and you see people, y'all watch Shark Tank, you know, they go on there and they have these great products and these great ideas, and the greatest ones are the ones that are solving the pain points that we have every day, that everyday people are dealing with, or they're just so weirdly niched down that it's like, that's really cool. So it's like, you know, you might decide to go on Etsy like everyone else in the world and try to sell a product that's maybe a product, like, I'm just spitballing here. Like, let's say you decide to make Christmas ornaments. You just are super passionate about Christmas, and you go on there and you're like, I'm going to make Christmas ornaments. Well, there's probably tons of other Etsy shops that make Christmas ornaments, but maybe you are also passionate about, I don't know, the medical field. Like, I'm literally just spitballing. And so you decide that your Christmas ornaments are going to be niched down to things like stethoscopes and nurses caps and syringes, you know, I don't know. And so I think that when you can come up with an idea that maybe you're finding is lacking in your market, and it's really specific and niche to a target audience that you know that you can speak directly to, and that they can understand clearly what it is that you're selling to them, like, you're gonna you're going to be successful in that because those people
Yeah.
are out there. Like they're all out there. No matter like how niche down you think you're getting or how weird you might, I've seen people have success with some pretty crazy things. So that's another just great point that I think I wanted to hit on is just like know your target audience. Find, niche down, find what's missing, solve a problem for somebody, and you're headed in the right direction.
That's exactly right. I think finding the voids in the thing you're already interested in and filling that void with your own business is a way to be irreplaceable
Yeah.
because it's something that people probably already wanted and it was missing. And a great place to start is to start with the thing that you go looking for and can't find.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't find it, it's not available on the market, then put it on the market. That's opportunity right there.
Yeah.
I think it was really cool that you mentioned moms who are empty nesters because a lot of times they don't categorize themselves as mompreneurs anymore. They think, yeah, but I can devote 100% of my time to the business because I'm not mothering anymore actively, right? Like my kids are out of the house, they have their own stuff going on. I'm not balancing making dinner and soccer practice and whatever else with business. But actually, their input is super valuable because they've already done the thing that we're trying to do. They're ahead of us in the game
Exactly.
and they still need support. They still
Exactly.
need support because you're never done being a mother. You are always a mom. And to be included in a collective that identifies with the thing that you have been identifying with for 20 years is really important. So I think that's super cool of you to mention. But do you think, and this is, listen, I know that the easy answer to this is yes, of course. And that's everyone's answer. And we've been programmed to say that's the answer. But I want you to pause and I want you to really consider this.
Okay.
Can women in business truly support women in business? And let me preface this by saying I'm asking because there have been many a networking group that I have joined, locally or otherwise, where we can't have more than one person in the same field in the group because we want to do cross references back and forth. And we want to make sure that, if there's one realtor in the group, we're not pitting them against, we don't have in-house competition, basically. And I find value to that. And I also understand where that limits us for growth in networking. So how do you get around that by having a free for all, anybody join, we're all networking, we're all referring?
Yeah. Oh, I love your question. And it's funny because I was thinking about this being a topic of conversation in one of our mompreneur meetups because I know that in the same week, I had two women join the group that sell very similar items. Also, I've already had other coaches join the group, right, that are going to come in and sell their life coach, and I'm a life coach, right? I could very much let that make my brain go, oh gosh, now I'm competing with this other woman, and oh gosh, no. I believe in the law of abundance. I believe that there's enough to go around for everyone, and I also believe that what person might be right for you to do business with may be completely wrong for someone else. And so regardless of whether I'm the only life coach in the room or there are 20, you can be the sweetest peach in the world and not everybody likes peaches. And so you're not going to be the person for everyone. And that's okay. I want them to find the right person that is for them. I want them to find the exact right product that is perfect for what they're looking for. And it's okay. If that's not me, I stay focused on what I'm doing. And so, to answer your question, I encourage there being multiples because we have so much to learn from each other. And
Literally.
it makes referring, it strengthens your referral ability, right? Like there's so many different kinds of coaches. You and I are two completely different kind of coaches. If I have somebody that comes to me and says, man, I really want to start a beauty business, I'm going to be like, you know what, sis? I know who to send you to because that's not me. So I think that there's a lot of value in having multiples be in the same room because, again, your person might not be that one person that's there, but you may find that person that you want to work with amongst the 10 that are there. So I never, ever plan on restricting the amount of one type of industry being in the room, all that mess. That's not my cup of tea at all. I do believe that it's possible for women to support women. I strive to do that on a daily basis. I literally, every opportunity I have, I'm trying to lift up another woman-owned business and just say, go to her. This is somebody that you should work with. And so, Yeah, I think that we just really have to believe that law of abundance, and that there is, enough for everybody. This is not, I'm not leaning towards scarcity over here. That's not
Right.
my role.
Well, when I realized that we were both coaches and that you had started this group, and you and I, did we go to high school together or college together?
Yes.
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 I was like, I know her. Her name wasn't Smith. Her name was Hanks.
Hey, Del.
Hato. Yeah. I was like, I know her. And actually I had seen you at walk-ons a few times as well. So I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
know her. This is so cool that we're doing the same thing. I have
Yeah.
to get her on the podcast. So we
Yeah.
hadn't even spoken. And I was just like, hey, I already know that I want you involved with this, whatever. I obviously also agree in the law of abundance. I could care less that we are in technically the same field. It doesn't matter. You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, in my opinion. However, there is always, things are multifaceted. So we are in the unique position as women who own businesses of being girlfriends with our own local competition. And I see this all the time in the aesthetics world. Some of my best friends are also other estheticians or permanent makeup artists or permanent makeup trainers or beauty business coaches. That doesn't stop me from being their friend. And it certainly doesn't stop us. No one understands your job the way somebody else who also does it understands you, So I
Yeah.
have girlfriends who are not in the beauty business who I can chat with all day long. My best friend Ariel and I, we chat all day long about everything that bothers us or anything that excites us, but she can't understand it from the frame of reference of my friend Mindy, who is also a cosmetic tattoo artist, or my friend Amanda, who is also a cosmetic tattoo trainer. So it's nice to have different places to dump your feelings based on what you need from the conversation. But there is a small percentage of people who are not truly your friend, and that's the problem. They are opportunists. They're people who are just trying to see what you do so that they can try and rip it off or try and undercut you. And that is where we get this scarcity mindset, because it's from people who have been burned by this fake friendship. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that you owe everybody in your field all of your government secrets. We're not saying that. So if that's the frame of reference that you're operating from, one, that's really unfortunate. And I feel terrible that that happened to you. And two, not everybody is like that. Everybody's had a bad boyfriend. Not every boyfriend's like that. Not everybody who's in your field and wants to be your friend wants to be your friend. Not everybody who's in your field and wants to be your friend is going to fuck you over. So keep that in mind, and keep your eyes peeled. Got to keep an eye out for Selena. But in general, people in this group, especially in early days, always have the best intentions. So it's the best time to start building that community.
Yeah.
Where can people find your community?
Where can they find it?
Yeah.
Well, Facebook is definitely where the group is. Mompreneurs of Lafayette is the Facebook group, so you could search there. My business page is Jamie Smith Coaching on Facebook. That's also my website, jamiesmithcoaching.com. So I have another Facebook community, actually, that's called Lead a Life You Can Love, which is parallel to my podcast, Lead a Life You Can Love. So got a lot of little spaces going on.
Nice. Well, I'm going to link all of those in the bottom, in the description on Spotify and on YouTube. So if anyone is looking for those or wants to link up with Jamie, I'll make it very, very easy for you. Yeah. Jamie, we have just a few minutes left. So is there anything else that you just really wish that you could say to any woman who is looking to open her own business or who's struggling with entrepreneurship?
Give me a second, because I want it to really add value here. I think that what I would love to leave any mama with that has dreams of starting her own business or her own side hustle is that before you start any of the groundwork, before you really worry about any of the businessy foundation laying stuff that a lot of times I see women get all caught up in, thinking that they have to do this, that, and the other first before they can take that next step, which is really just like all of that is just disguising this like fear of failure and fear of self-doubt, all this stuff that's keeping you from moving forward. But I just want to encourage the work that needs to be done first is you believing in your own identity as an entrepreneur, as, whatever it is that your, industry title may be. So for us, a coach, I really had to first work on believing that I was a life coach. And so instead of going into this 4 years ago saying, oh, I'm a newbie, I don't know what I'm doing, and kind of going in. You need to approach your business that you're just about to start as if you're already like making tons of money in it, like taking it that seriously, taking it as serious as you would if you were already super successful at it, making boatloads of money. How would you approach it then? That's the kind of identity that I encourage you to start owning